Done with the studio is fantastic. What the evolution I've seen of what they've done when they started this thing. Obviously, Matt Moscona's running the show now with a great staff under him that with all the different shows. We'll talk about those shows today. A lot to talk about. So you can check it out on Channel 19, 104.5 ESPN, YouTube, 104.5ESPN.com. Also, terrestrial radio. You can still listen on the radio at 104.5. You can also catch it on 104.9 as well. I think you can catch it on 98.1, the second channel of 98.1, whatever you call that. So, but Coach pulled a big one today. He's got CEH 22 coming in. Well, he wears number 25 now, but CEH 22, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So your relationship with Clyde obviously dates back to your days of coaching him in high school. We'll have him live in studio from 8 to 9.
Awesome. Great to see him. Haven't seen him in person in a while. Get to talk to him by text and keep up with him that way. And, during the season, just congratulate him, just check in with him, and we'll get the thumbs up. And told him way back when he apologized, Coach, I apologize for not getting back to you right away. Hey, you're a professional football player. A lot more to it than what a lot of people think about. It's cool job. I mean, how great is that to be a professional athlete? But it is a job, and there's a lot more entails to it than just going out there and playing on a Sunday. So get to keep up with him, and just a tremendous human, tremendous person.
Just turned something on I wasn't supposed to. First
5 minutes in, and
that's an
we're
X.
Screwing up already. Thanks, Troy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, we're happy to have Clyde Edwards in. We're going to have Cokie Raley on at 7:30 a.m. Obviously, things are continuously changing with the transfer portal. Who's in, who's out for LSU baseball. You love when Jay Johnson on Twitter drops that little tiger. You know something's coming. And I know people obviously disappointed on how the LSU baseball season ended. We have an all-SEC final. I think this will be the 7th time we got an all-SEC final. Let's see. It was a SEC and ACC in the College World Series, right?
Correct.
They did not. ACC did not beat the SEC in the College World Series, according to what me looking at it and checking it out. So, and I know ACC was strong this year, but
always are.
SEC showed why they're the best conference in baseball. I mean, that's something I want to talk about a little bit later with Cokie too. What has happened with all the teams on the West Coast? Those kids are not going there anymore. I guess they're coming to the South.
You look at UCLA, Stanford, two perennial powerhouses in college baseball, and this year they just fell by the wayside. And I try before the season to entertain my son and pick the 64 teams to make it, and I feel like if I can get 40 of them, I feel pretty good. Well, now in the day and age of the transfer portal, it's so difficult because you can't really gauge who's going to step up in the development of players that come from a mid-major, so to speak. And we have a few of those coming in with the Indiana State transfer in the portal, as well as the Wofford pitcher. And you see those guys, but the development of these guys, tremendous. But Arizona was the big team from the West Coast this year, and they couldn't get out the regional. Arizona State was a powerhouse, but Oregon State as well. And the good thing with the portal is it kind of revives programs like Oregon, and Washington has been decent in recent memory. So it's good in some ways, and it's just a sign of the times. And old school guys like us, I think we're not the biggest fans of it and NIL, but we're realizing, hey, that's the day and age we live in now, and you better get used to it and adapt.
So we'll have Cokie on at 7:30. We'll have Clyde in from 8 to 9. Sam Spiegelman actually from Rivals. He just switched back over to Rivals. He'll come on at 8:30 when we have Clyde on. So we'll chop it up with Sam a little bit, what's going on with LSU, and bringing different guys in. They got a big recruit yesterday we'll talk about in just a little bit for the 2025 class. 2026 looks strong. Louisiana, I mean, obviously, you know the background of that being head of the Louisiana High School Coaches Association affiliated with the LHSAA. So a lot of big time. The classes of 25, 26, and even 27 in Louisiana looks fantastic, looks strong. At 9 o'clock, we'll have Fletcher Mackel on from WDSU. a lot to talk about the Saints and the Pelicans. Speculation on Monty Williams potentially coming back to the Pelicans. He just got fired by Detroit. Coach, you get fired and you get 65 G's. Give me the pink slip, baby.
65 M's, right?
Yeah, 65 MGs. Millions. So he's going to get all that money. His contract will state that. So Monty, who I think is a fantastic coach, just didn't seem like he was ever a fit with Detroit. He may come back because, the Pelicans are losing some of their coaches. Their top assistant is up for a couple of jobs. The Lakers made their choice. Oof. I don't know.
And we can talk with Fletcher about Willie Green and his relationship with the Pistons and also the Detroit area as well, because there's some background there and some talk in NBA circles about him and his relationship with the Detroit area, the Pistons franchise, and what that may mean. A lot of smoke, probably nothing happening, but always good to talk about something like that, especially with Fletcher.
We'll have Aaron Schatz on. Aaron's a guy you and I have brought on a couple of times. We'll have him on at about 9:30 and talk a little bit about what Aaron brings to the table. It's sports, but it comes from a different angle.
Comes from a different angle, just like you look at Moneyball from the baseball standpoint of things. And 25 years ago, Bill James, famous for the book that he wrote on Moneyball and the analytics and how getting on base is the most important thing in baseball, and that's how you generate runs. It's not about getting guys that hit home runs and loading your lineup with home run hitters. It's loading your lineup with guys who get on base. And it's kind of a similar thing in football with analytics, but it's gone way beyond that. And Aaron's one of those guys. He was a mainstay with Football Outsiders, the analytics group behind ESPN, and he still does some work with ESPN, I believe, but a big analytics guy. And 2 years ago, if you remember, he blew the chat up when he said the Eagles would win the Super Bowl, and everybody made fun. Lo and behold, the Eagles made it. And we're really close to winning the Super Bowl. So we'll see who his pick is for 2024.
So we got a big one planned for you today. Coming up next segment, I'm going to tell you why I think LSU's defensive line is better than people think. And Coach is going to jump in on that as well. So before we go to break, I'll say a couple of good mornings. Jamie in the chat, good morning, Jamie. Eric Truss, good morning. OTB family. Jamie, who's going to be on from 8 to 9? Alondra took care of that. It's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Good morning, William Anthony in the chat. So keep them coming. Let us know what you think. We're also going to do a question. Ask some questions for Clyde when we get him here. Probably the last part of 8 to 9. Throw some questions out there for him. So make sure you jump on. Alondra, throw you in here. You got a big night tonight, right?
I do. I'm really excited about it.
Tell us.
We're going to be doing a battle of the bands at the Texas Club. Eagle 98.1's putting it on. I will be emceeing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think everybody should come out to the Texas Club. It's only $20 at the door to get in. So
that's 5 bands?
5 bands that are going to be battling it out to open for Kenny Wayne Shepherd at the River Center on July 13th.
I looked up Kenny Wayne Shepherd because I really wasn't I'm not a music guy.
Yeah.
But he's big.
He's big. I wasn't that familiar with him either, but a lot of people really like him. So this is a really big opportunity for local Louisiana bands, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
The last time I went to the Texas Club, let me tell you when. Coach is going to appreciate this. When I was coaching high school, and we would stay in Baton Rouge for the week, and the coaches, when we were cool away from our wives and stuff, we'd go to the Texas Club on the Wednesday night that week. And thought we were
on a
cool.
Wednesday?
On a Wednesday night.
Oh, no.
It was hopping. You remember that, Coach?
Hopping on a Wednesday?
You're going way back.
That's way back.
The song goes
way back machine
club
there.
Going up on a Tuesday, but y'all were out there on a Wednesday.
Well, we got there on Monday, so by the Wednesday.
Yeah. Just 2 days straight.
I saw coaches burn out by Tuesday because they would be away from home, and by Wednesday, it was over.
Done.
The wives were like, time to come back home.
You're right. For the coaches clinic, you were looking for a place to go, and that was one of them. I never made it there though, but
you wasn't in the cool group.
No, that week, that stretch could ruin you for sure. It ruined a lot of coaches. I saw that.
It took some time
being
off
away
your life.
from home. It was like, spring break back in college, back in high school for some.
I can tell
Couldn't control himself.
I could tell some stories. Not going to do that. Beck, what's up, Beck? Beck, I know you're a big baseball guy. What you think? Texas A&M and Tennessee.
Oh.
Yeah, as I
y'all
said,
talking about
It's
it.
disgusting.
as I've said on the show, I picked A&M to win it all, and I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not proud of my choice, but I think they have the best ball club, and they're in the final. So let's go Aggies.
I'm concerned.
Smart man, because he prefaced it with not proud of himself picking A&M.
I'm not.
I unfortunately think that Tennessee's going to win. I really do.
I think Tennessee's going to choke. I'm with Beck. I think A&M's going
might.
to win, but Tennessee, to your point,
They're
Alondra,
really good.
They're really.
There's a lot of times where we're like, oh, they're not going to win, and then they win. So I don't know.
I think those are the two best baseball teams.
Yeah.
Overall,
I would
Now,
agree.
Texas A&M's banged up right now.
Yeah,
That concerns me a little bit. Obviously, Tony V at
Tennessee's
Tennessee.
just hot. They're hot right now.
Tony V's hot, you said?
No, well, I mean, a lot of people think he is. Yes, not my type, but
a good-looking guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's good looking conventionally, but yeah, the baseball team's hot right now.
They're
So,
good.
Yeah.
They have 178 home runs. Who's got the record? LSU, 188. Gorilla ball days. That's pretty amazing with the difference in the bats now that Tennessee's got 178.
and of course, people always mention their ballpark is pretty small, but
Right.
it's still impressive.
I think I'm not pulling for either team.
Yeah.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see a good series. I think it'll go 3 games. I don't see anybody sweeping there. But I guess if you force me, all right, who do I want to win that series? Probably Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, like I said, I picked Texas A&M, but also I think I like Jim Schlossnagle as a coach, and comparing him to Tony Vitello, I'll take the better coach or the more likable coach winning over Tennessee.
Schlossnagle definitely more likable, as you said.
Yes.
Worked some Tulane baseball camps back in the day, over 20 years ago, when Schloss was on that staff with Rick Jones, and he was the assistant. They had a great staff back. All those guys got D1 jobs, and Schloss is a great guy, great recruiter.
Yeah.
Also,
Jake reminded me that Nolan Kane's on the staff, too.
Yes.
So we got to kind of root
Love
for
Nolan
Nolan.
Kane.
yes,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are pulling for A&M
That's a great point.
Yeah.
because
That's
of
why I'm
Nolan
pulling for
Kane,
A&M.
Shout out Nolan.
without a doubt.
My son, who's going to be a senior in high school, went to the LSU baseball camp, and Nolan worked it. And he was the nicest dude to the kids. I mean, my kid was little and didn't know anything, and Nolan was super nice.
And I've kind of warmed up a little more to Vitello, because when he took over the Tennessee baseball program, nowhere near what it is now, and he had to get an edge.
Who
he
was
had
the
to have
coach
a
before him,
bravado.
Beck?
was,
I'm drawing a blank. He was there a long time, and I'm drawing a blank.
You see, he's been so good over there, we forgot about who the coach was.
Right, and he's done a great job. And you remember a few years ago, they had some times where you had a little bench clearing from both sides, and he
Kinda
brought
like
that,
it a
he
little
brought
bit.
it. He brought that edge to the program, and a lot of
Dave
it was,
Serrano.
hey, my guys need that.
Dave Serrano. West
That's
Coast
it.
guy. West
Yep.
Coast guy.
Yep, he was at Fullerton for a while.
Yep. And he
did-
was at
did a great job.
he was at Fullerton and UC Irvine before that.
There you
Yep.
go.
Dave Serrano's a good
The
coach.
Anteaters of Irvine.
Where's Dave now? We'll talk about that. But on the other side,
That's interesting, though. That
it-
like the West Coast coaches, they're doing really, like Jay Johnson's a West Coast coach as well, and they're doing,
they're coming down south.
they are, yeah.
I mean,
We had Serrano. We had in 2020, due to the pandemic, it was a virtual clinic, and Dave Serrano spoke at the virtual clinic and did a great job. He was a pleasure to deal with. A lot of sometimes these guys, I could tell you some stories off air, some interesting stories about big name guys,
right.
and dealing with them and how to get them to speak at your clinic, even virtual, to come on for 50 minutes. But Serrano was so easy to deal with, and I can't believe I forgot he was the coach that preceded Vitello. But just a side note, the D1 baseball contest where you pick the regional winners, super regional, all the bracket, I picked Tennessee and A&M to be in the finals, with Tennessee winning. However, my regional and super regional picks, I sucked. It looked like
I think-
That's all right. You got the ones that counted. You got the championship.
I did, but if you look at and the people that are going to win that contest or contending to win, if you look, they were tremendous in the and that's
Right.
just like on your NCAA bracket. Where do you win it? you win it early in the first 2 rounds with your upsets, because everybody's going to come up with UConn to win, right? Well, you got to pick those upsets and find those ones early on. It's kind of the same thing with the baseball bracket.
All right, screwed the clock up. We got to pay some bills. We'll take a break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, I'm going to tell you why. And Coach is going to tell you why. He may agree or disagree with me. Well, I think LSU's defensive line is going to be pretty good this upcoming football season. Don't go anywhere. It's OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
If you need a fixed placement front load dumpster, okay, you're a business. We understand the different businesses have different needs. And so we have very flexible scheduling at Trash Rangers. Let's say you want a reliable dumping schedule, and maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 days a week. Trash Rangers has your back, and that's anywhere, okay? I don't care where you live. You can take advantage of Trash Rangers there. So do it by calling 225-363-9053, 225-363-9053.
Go to the website, trashrangersllc.com, and there you'll find what we've been telling you about over the last couple of weeks with their roll-off dumpsters. And so if you own a business and you need the largest size, well, they can come, they can roll that in, they've got you covered. But if you're just doing something at your house, maybe you need something a little bit smaller, they have 3 different sizes to choose from over at Trash Rangers. So no matter what job, project you've got going on, they're going to be able to fit those needs. TrashRangersLLC.com.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review with Matt Moscone.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
Matt Moscone inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, previewing a busy recruiting weekend for the football Tigers and the latest in the baseball transfer portal. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Some good tune. Who's that, Alondra?
It's Pharrell and Robin Thicke.
Yeah, and they stole that from Marvin Gaye, too.
Yeah.
The first time I heard that
He's
song,
a music guy.
I thought of Marvin Gaye immediately.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I think the state of Marvin Gaye
I think
was
they
suing.
did sue them. Yeah.
And they made millions.
Yeah.
I
They
couldn't
got
remember if
millions
they
That
from it.
settled
estate sues like everybody though. They
Yeah.
recently sued somebody else, and I can't this year. I can't remember who though. They
Alondra,
sue all the
who's
time.
taking over for Katy Perry?
On American Idol?
Yeah.
I didn't know she was still on it.
She's out.
She's out?
Yes.
Dang. Probably a country singer.
Jennifer Lopez.
Well, they already got
Probably not.
Kelsey Ballerini, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would make sense.
I gotta say some good mornings. Carl the Cat. Good morning, Carl the Cat.
Shout out
Dunn.
Carl the Cat.
He's the man.
Legend.
He's everywhere. Carl, are you still umpiring? Let me know that.
Radio cult status, Carl the Cat.
What's up, Scott Deese? Ryan Smith said this is interesting. What's interesting, Ryan? We know a lot of sports, man. You just don't know it. Where's the cold Coors Light? You ready?
I know, Jake.
Are we doing that
Jacob
today?
forgot- Well, yeah, we can do it, but you forgot to put all the stuff up there.
Oh yeah.
9 to 10.
Okay.
When we have the analytics nerd guy
I'll put
on.
all the stuff up there.
I didn't mean it like
during
that.
the
You know
break.
what I
I
meant.
didn't think about that.
I think he'd take that as a compliment.
He probably gets paid good money. Brian Burgess. Brian Burgess is a regular. Brian's got some good takes. He hadn't been to the Texas Club in a while. Who else we got in here? Make defense great again. T-Bob, Jake Taylor suspended. Let's start the rumor. They are
They should
suspended.
be.
They probably would be happy to be suspended for a week, right? Get
Yeah.
the week off.
Oh yeah.
With pay.
Do people know that Jake does an afternoon show?
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, Beck. I cheat on you guys a little bit. Like I'll turn Hunt off
Dang.
and you, and I'll go listen to Jake, and I'll go in serious
Bobby.
a little
That's
bit. But
okay.
I come back.
That's okay.
Meathead Bobby. Wonder how T is doing from Eric Tross. Who knows?
God bless him.
Alondra says she got a text message from him yesterday. She won't hear from him again.
Yeah, probably not.
Is he
He let us know he landed safely.
right?
And then we got like 2 more texts from him and haven't heard from him.
That trip's gonna turn into what's the show with the guys?
Hangover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I see it.
Yeah.
That's where I
It's like
see it.
any trip T-Pop goes on.
Shane LeBlanc, Daniel Blunt. Good morning, Joe Landry. Good morning, Jacques Comrie. Boy, they like to hammer Scone, huh? Scone's the ball. Why do they hammer Scone so much in the huddle?
He's easy to, he's easy to talk about. I think.
They hammer him.
Yeah.
I think he does a great job. Let's 3 minutes, Coach. I'm gonna stay on the clock because we got Koki Raley coming on at 7:30 to talk about transfer portal, LSU baseball, College World Series, LSU defensive line. If you look at what's coming back, and I know everybody's bagging on the LSU defensive line, guys that you and I know, Jalen Lee, Jacobian Guillory, Savion Jones. Those are 3 Louisiana-bred home guys. Savion being from St. James, Jacobian being from Opelousas, and Jalen played at Live Oak, I believe.
And signed with Florida,
Right.
and has returned.
You throw Braden Swinson, who I thought had a really good year last year, at the defensive end spot. I think you got to throw Dominic McKinley in there from Acadiana, powerhouse Acadiana. This is my take on it, and I'm gonna go about 30 seconds on it. Everybody feels like LSU's defensive line is gonna be weak. If you look at, they also picked up Geo Potts. I think that's how you say Patts, however you say his name, from Wisconsin, who's gonna be a rotational piece. Who knows? He may take a starting spot. But I think if you look at LSU's championship teams over the years, where were they good on the offense and defensive line? I think we can agree that LSU's offensive line is going to be fantastic with the guys they got coming up. They got 2 preseason All-Americans, one from place you coached at, Catholic High, and obviously from Neville as well up front. But on that defensive line, I think those guys continuously are going to hear it in the offseason how bad they're going to be. I think Jacobian Guillory is going to have a fantastic season.
Guillory needs to condition himself to where he's able to play 7 to 10 more snaps a game to really have an effect and to really take his talent to another level, and then kind of have those other guys feed off of him. He's the leader on the defensive line. He's the veteran. He's been around. Big hire in the offseason for the LSU staff was, of course, Bo Davis coming over from Texas. And
Coach, I had a chance to be in a room with Bo Davis when he was recruiting a guy that I knew to go to Texas. The guy ended up signing with Texas.
Tap.
Yeah. Bo Davis.
Tremendous recruiter.
Oh, my God.
Going back to the days, worked LSU football camps with Nick Saban, and Bo Davis was, back in the day, was before analyst became in vogue, he was an analyst.
He started out as a strength guy.
Intern. Yeah, they piled their guys up as interns in the strength room and in the weight room, and under Tommy Moffitt. And Bo Davis was one of those guys, and you could just tell, and he did a great job. And Pete Jenkins' disciple, but much like Brad Davis did with the offensive line and kind of rebuilding it, and they're doing it with some homegrown guys. You mentioned Campbell and Jones, and now it's one of the top offensive lines in the country. It's going to be that way in the next 2 to 3 years under Bo Davis because he does such a great job with development, just like Brad Davis has done with the O-line. The O-line, when Brad Davis came in, those guys, not really a good group. Even in the 2019, I know they won the Joe Moore Award, but if you go back and you look at all the plays, the 2019 championship team of the offensive line, I can't tell you how many times that the Heisman Trophy winner, winning quarterback, and the first-round draft pick at running back did a great job of making people miss. They had free runners coming through, and you don't see that happening now because those guys work in concert with each other up front. Brad Davis has done a great job. Homegrown, Bel Air High School.
We tried to get Coach Davis on today, but they got a big recruiting day today. I think they're doing something tonight. Just too much going on. Michael Barnett, he reached back out to us. He just couldn't get him today. But you pulled Clyde. We'll talk some more football when Clyde comes. But I want to take a break. I want to try to stay close to the clock as possible because we're going to get Koki Raley on from the Advocate to talk LSU baseball. We'll talk the current College World Series, with that being Texas A&M and Tennessee, starting tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, potentially on Monday if they go 3 games. But a lot to talk about LSU baseball. We'll do that next with Koki Raley on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Window coverings. Get K to Z window coverings or we'll kill you. Sorry, stole the slogan. Not really. Okay. It's not. Well, it is that serious, though, okay? Because you're going to kill it when you have Brandon Barton out to your home and he does the tour and he sees exactly how the sunlight interacts with your home in every single part of the day. And then he comes together with a plan that's going to maximize your home both aesthetically and functionally. Why don't you look into some honeycomb shades, okay? We talking about going from a bright, beautiful room to a blackout room instantly. It's also got some sound dampening. So if you're someone who works a graveyard shift, anything like that, KDZ's going to get you right. We get some outdoor exterior covers so you can be out there grilling, chilling in this hot summer like Jake is now. Again, KDZ going to get you right for that. K to Z window coverings, KTOZblinds.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to
GIF edition of Live at Lunch, live at Rufino's, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. My man, Devin Hold the Mayo Snow, will be co-hosting for the entire show. Come by and see us. Live at Lunch, live at Rufino's, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Friday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
If I had to answer who
Name
this
that
was, I couldn't. Wait, I don't know.
Here's your hint from New Zealand, I believe.
Oh,
Won a Grammy, I think it's 17 or 18 years old.
Oh,
Is
that
right?
helps. Who is this?
She won a Grammy young, yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't 20.
Who is it?
Lord.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like Lord, like I didn't know. No,
Yeah.
No,
Lord's a
no,
name.
That's her name.
I'm not good at music. I like to talk sports, and I like talking to Cokie Raley from the Advocate, the LSU beat writer who does a fantastic job covering the Tigers. Cokie, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning. How's it going?
Man, we appreciate you coming on. You know, it's really hard to find somebody in the 7:30 slot. When I sent a message to Cokie, he was all over it, baby. Let's go 7:30. You an early morning guy?
Not usually, but I can do a little bit of everything. So I'm just happy to be on with it. But again, thanks so much for having me on here.
I appreciate it. I'm kind of a colleague of yours. I write for the Advocate on the Ascension side, so of sports. So we kind of best buds. So just letting you know. Shout out. So, Robin Fambro's the GOAT. But anyway, Cokie, let's talk LSU baseball, man. Let's get everybody up to date. It's a, people think this is an off season for you. This is not. I mean, it's continuously changing every day. And if you go to NOLA.com, I'm actually looking at a video of Cokie right now doing the Insider podcast that you can check out. Let's talk about who's in right now. So give us the names of who's in for Coach Jay Johnson. Then we'll go who's out.
Yeah, technically it's 12 guys in, but if you're just counting, the D1 transfers, non-JUCO transfers, 7 guys in. The latest guy is Eddie Yamin. He's mostly a first baseman at Dayton. Also has some outfield experience and some catching experience. He had 13 home runs this past season at Dayton. You also have Luis Hernandez, who's another first base type with catching experience. He hit 23 home runs this past year at Indiana State. Yamin is not draft eligible. Hernandez is. If Jared Jones doesn't come back, one guy could play first, one guy could play DH, and they can play both of them to play in the corner outfield spot if need be as well. The other position player they've gotten as a D1 transfer is Chris Stanfield. He's a center field type out of Auburn. Only hit around 270 with 4 home runs this past year at Auburn, but seems like he has some decent potential as a guy who could easily get picked in this year's only draft as a draft-eligible sophomore. So he's definitely a name to keep out for, and definitely a potential replacement for Paxton Kling, since, of course, he can play center field. So you have those 3 guys. You have Chandler Dorsey, who was the first guy to transfer over from USF at a mid-3 ERA, has mid-90s fastball. There's Devin Sheeran, the Mount St. Mary's transfer. He only had a 4.7 ERA to play for Mount St. Mary's, so that doesn't sound like majorly impressive, but at the same time, he's got a fastball that's 98 miles an hour. He's also 6'5", so he's a big kid with some big stuff. So you like to see that as sort of a swing for the fences, so to say. He's a guy with some big potential, so you'd like to see that if you're an LSU fan. Another addition they made was Zach Cowan, kid out of Wofford, who I think a lot of LSU fans are pretty familiar with him, just because there was an expectation that LSU was going to have to face him in the opening game of the regional, but that ended up not being the case. He ended up throwing against Long Island, which was Wofford's second game, and throwing 6 shutout innings in that game. Just a talented kid, very pitchable. So you have all those sort of options, and there might be one name that's escaping me right now. But overall, they've been pretty aggressive in the transfer portal up to this point, at least. And it's going to be really interesting to see how everything sort of comes together from this point forward. Luke Hayden is the other name I forgot. Another Indiana State transfer, another draft-eligible guy. Spent 2 years at Indiana, wasn't fantastic there, but had his best season as a collegiate this past year in Indiana State. There's a chance he might get drafted, though. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this sort of shakes out.
Koki, you mentioned the 4 right-handed pitchers that LSU picked up in the transfer portal. Zach Cowan highlighting those. You mentioned that with Wofford, and LSU fans familiar with him. So kind of the headliner. They lost 3 lefties, Coleman, Johnson, and then Bronzini, of course. Not the most heralded guy, but who are some potential guys, or what is Jay Johnson doing to replace those lefties on the pitching staff?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to look at the transfer portal to replace some of those lefties. I mean, the biggest name right now is available is Zach Root, the lefty from East Carolina. But outside of that, you're going to be picking up guys who, LSU fans may not be super duper familiar with. But I think they're going to really need them, because if you look at the freshman class, because we have to remember this in terms of potential additions as well, you have 2 guys committed right now who have a very good chance of getting selected in the draft. Cam Caminetti is almost a foregone conclusion as a guy who's going to get picked. He's going to be either a chance he gets picked in top 10 of this year's draft, but probably in the top, almost certainly the top 15 at the top, perhaps lefty in the draft. And then there's Boston Bateman, who's also one of the top pitchers in the draft. I probably expect him to be a top 2-round pick. He's really a consensus top 50-ish sort of prospect, regardless of high school or college. So if those are your 2 left-handed, commits, then you got to find more outside contributors, because Cade Anderson and DJ Primo are really the only guys that are almost, seems like they're coming back for sure. And then there's also Connor Ware, who's a JUCO commit, but he's also had some injury issues. He's a JUCO guy. You don't know what you're going to get out of him exactly. He's really, a nice depth piece. So they're just going to need more depth and more options from the left-handed side. And unless you're going to make Jake Brown a pitcher again, which I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. That's definitely a need for this team.
Visiting with Koki Raley of the Advocate, the beat writer at Koki Raley on Twitter. Give him a follow. Koki, obviously, Coach asked about the left-handed pitchers, and the one I want to go back to that a little bit. I saw Cam Johnson just committed to Oklahoma. My opinion on Cam Johnson, and we were talking about it off air a little bit, he came from IMG Academy, throws really hard from the left side. When you got those type of guys, they all become, major league teams want those type of arms from the left side that throw in the mid to high 90s. But obviously, location and the walks, that was the problem. Location of where he puts the baseball and walks. It seemed like in high school he probably was just so dominating, intimidating up there. A lot of guys would probably swing at bad pitches to get out of the box with him. So what do you think about losing a guy like Cam Johnson? I mean, I believe it is a loss. I'm not going to downplay it, but he just seemed like he never could put it together throughout the season.
Yeah, he definitely had trouble putting it together this season. I don't think there's much of a question about that. When it came to the walks and some of the few opportunities that he did have, but also kind of what you said as well, though, like it's a pretty substantial loss given the potential that he had, given the fact that there weren't too many guys in college who could throw the upper 90s as a left-handed pitcher. Just that projection, that potential, that projectability, that's what you want when you bring in a freshman. And to lose a guy like that is definitely tough. And he was not on the active roster for the regional, and I do think I just do think that the lack of opportunity that he had at the end of this past season probably soured on him.
Koki, Michael Braswell, eligible for the draft. Do you anticipate him going high enough to leave LSU? And then what is Johnson and the staff doing at that shortstop position to plug it in case they do lose Braswell?
If they do lose Braswell, obviously you're going to see them be pretty aggressive down a shortstop. But I honestly think that he'll come back if I had to guess. I don't really see him having sort of a pop-out trait that major league teams are going to want to jump on immediately. I think maybe what's best for him is if he has a very, very productive season, another very, very productive season at LSU, maybe hit a few more home runs, sort of put up the resume that Gavin Dugas had in his fifth year at LSU, and this would only be Braswell's fourth year in college. So I think it would make sense for him to come back, maybe improve defensively a little bit as well. And, I don't think he's going to enter the transfer portal. It would be very, very surprising if he did. It seems like he had a very enjoyable time this past year at LSU. So with all that considered, I think there's a pretty decent chance that he comes back. And you have him and you have Steven Milam coming back up the middle. And what you really need is a third baseman then. You have Kale Fountain and Arumbula, the kid who just the freshman who's coming in, Daniel Arumbula. But you need a veteran there who can sort of plug into place on third base, and unless you really want to put Tanner Reeves as a JUCO guy there. So I don't know. Third base still seems like a hole to me, even more so than shortstop. Mostly because my guess is that Braswell comes back.
Got about a minute left, Koki. Two quick ones. One from the chat. What about Thatcher Hurd? Do you think he's going to come back?
To answer that one pretty quickly, no. I would be very, very, very surprised if he came back.
And last one for you. College World Series. Who you got?
Ooh, good question. Tennessee was the best team I saw all year. That really sunk in for me at the SEC championship game. Just their depth, the depth of that lineup is incredible. And pitching wise, they don't have any superstars, but they have a bunch of solid guys and they have a lot of depth. And that's a sign of a really good team. Like I think you need to have an elite offense to win the College World Series. And that combined with some of the injuries that A&M is dealing with, it just seems like a very banged up team at the moment. And the next couple days off, it's going to help them. But I just think that overall that Tennessee's the best team in the country, and I think they're going to win this series.
Kogi, thanks for your time, man. Appreciate you coming on and giving us some insight at LSU baseball. You get a little bit of time off now?
Eventually, and I've had a little bit of time off here and there since the season's ended. But I mean, things are still active, but not quite as wild as the end of the end of the year.
Go check Jay Johnson's Twitter. He might be dropping a tiger. So, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on. Kogi Raley of LSU, the LSU beat writer for the Advocate. Man, that's nonstop. I mean, it is continuing. Usually when the season was over, before you had this transfer portal stuff and the kids changing so much, that the chances of a player going to a school now, coach, and staying 3 or 4 years and not leaving, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, it's akin to the dinosaurs, right? That you get somebody to stay 3 years and become draft eligible and then leave or even stay 4. Back in the day, you'd be somewhere, you'd get drafted after 3 and then leave the program. Or if you transferred or thought about it, well, you'd have to sit out a year. So people didn't want to have to sit out a year. They wanted to play. Now with the transfer portal, immediately eligible, and guys are hopping program to program, and it's the way of the world we live in now. And as he mentioned, third base, definitely something that they're looking at, that void that Tommy White leaves, of course.
It was a great one, obviously.
Awesome. And the transfer from Dayton and Hernandez from Indiana State definitely have some numbers there that you can say, if we can get these guys on campus and keep Hernandez from signing after getting drafted and get him on campus, then maybe they can fill that loss of production in the power categories that White leaves behind.
Didn't ask him about Bear Jones. He's at the Major League Baseball scouting combine.
Tore it
up. So I don't think he comes back. I think he depending on the money, depending on where he goes. But anyway, we can continue. We can talk about it a little bit later. We got to take a break. We got to wrap up the first hour of Off the Bench, because from 8 to 9, we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming in here. We're gonna have some fun with him. So don't go anywhere. It's Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Available in the rental department. Again, you don't find that anywhere else. But you'll find it over at All-Star Call. You go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Speaking of vacations, took a lot of vacations here on this show between T-Bob and Taylor. If you're going on a vacation, you should rent a Toyota from All-Star Toyota. Everything's available, right? If you need a truck, multiple options. If you need a midsize SUV, multiple options. If you need a full-size SUV, van, hybrid, whatever, well, you can get that done, because everything that you see available as far as a new vehicle or a vehicle that you can lease is also available in the rental department. Again, you don't find that anywhere else. But you'll find it over at All-Star. Call Miss Lisa Sessions today in that rental department to get that scheduled and reserved. But also, why would you not go check out the new vehicles and the leases? I've taken advantage of leasing a Toyota from All-Star. It's been an incredible process, very easy. If you want to buy new right now, I got new models on the lot. Sienna minivan, Murdered Out Mini. You can have that as well. Custom as custom can be. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals.
Join me for a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, presented by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Preston Guy talking football, and I guess we will preview the College World Series final. I'll get through it one way or another. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Coach can't figure this one out. I know I can't figure this one out. Maroon 5?
Maroon 5, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. That's my favorite band.
Look, we'd get along, Coach. I'm a music gal, too, so.
She can go different
as a
genres.
As a kid, I was tuned into MTV. When its inception in 81, we just got cable, and I'm flipping channels and MTV music television. I said, this is pretty cool. I remember the first video I saw was Blue Oyster Cult, I'm Burning for You. And that was about a week or two into the inception of MTV. I've always been a music guy.
I have no idea. Got about a minute left. Clock mismanagement again. I could have been on the staff.
LSU in the early 2010s.
Yeah, they all were talking about the Tennessee game the other day. Jake was talking about it because T-Bob was a center. Thank God he snapped that ball when Tennessee had 13.
I remember ripping the helmet off and spiking it and watching it.
Should have been a penalty.
Party that day. We were at a party and we're like, oh God. And then Jacques Doucet, after doing analysis, saying LSU tiptoed by the graveyard. And wow.
Folks, come back with us. 8 o'clock. We'll have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're going to be going grab him downstairs, and we're going to keep him here as long as we can. He's a busy man, but we're going to have him in studio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Sports Center at the top, and we'll be back for OTB starting at 8 o'clock.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to getgordon.com. Getgordon.com is the website where you can do it all. You can get a free consultation set up on the website. You can have a chat with them right there. Also on the website, you can find past client results, cases they can handle for you in the courtroom. All that information, again, great tool over at getgordon.com. Get Gordon is also going to be the handle on all major social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Go to Get Gordon, and then you'll see what they're doing in the community, because they're always doing something in the community as well. They're always doing something with your favorite athletes in the state of Louisiana, here in Baton Rouge, in Lafayette, in North Louisiana, all over the place. They are doing big things with athletes here in the state. Now, if you want to pick up the phone and give them a call, we give it to you every single day throughout the state of Louisiana. All you have to do is put your area code followed by the 8s, 888-8888. That's Get Gordon, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, hour number 2 on Off the Bench. Troy LaBeouf coach Eric Hill, Alondra and Jacob with us here on a Friday. Fun Friday. And a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. I know people used to say the dog days of summer. It's never the dog days of summer anymore. We haven't gotten to so many different things that are going on nationally. We talk more locally with the local teams, obviously LSU being one of them. First hour, we talked to Koki Raley, LSU baseball beat writer, about what LSU is doing, the portal, who they're losing, who they're picking up. You can go back and listen to that. We talked a little bit about LSU's defensive line, where we see it for the 2024 season. I think we're on countdown of Glenn Darcy today. 72 days until game day when LSU boot the ball. I saw somebody posted that earlier. Boot the ball against USC. I think it's important. Tigers, they got to get off to a good start. They haven't won an opener in a minute, so they got to get off to a good start. We promised Clyde Edwards, he's coming. I promise he's coming. He's on as Coach said, when he comes down, he just signed his brand new contract, 1-year contract with Kansas City Chiefs. He's being pulled in different directions, but I promise you, we'll have Clyde in studio in just a little bit. He'll actually be probably joining as we in the middle of the segment. So
he'll be here.
Coach, give a little bit of background on you and Clyde's relationship. Obviously, you're now with the LHSAA, with leading the coaches group with that, the Coaches Association. But you and Clyde have a pretty good relationship. You and I were talking about some funny stories with him when he played for you.
Sure. So I mentioned he was one of the tougher players I've had to coach, and that's from a positive perspective because you had to be on the ball with Clyde. Your drill work had to be intentional. Same thing in the film room. He asked great questions. He expected you to be on top of your game, and he expected the drill work to have meaning. I remember one time early on, didn't do so well in pass pro from a running back standpoint, and on the side, Clyde just said, "Hey, Coach, we didn't work too much in pass pro. We might want to do some more pass pro drill work."
Kind of calling you out, but not calling you out.
Sure, and he was respectful with it, and you had to be on top of the game. And the rest of the running backs in that meeting room kind of followed his lead, and they expected nothing from the best from you as well. And your drill work better be really good because he would go to these showcases and go to camps in the summer, and they were putting him through the paces with some really good stuff. And so he would come back and, you'd see video online, on Twitter, on social media, and some of the things that he was doing from a drill work standpoint. So he would bring things back and that you would implement in your position group drills. And like I said, you had to be on your game with him, which is really good. You want that because it brings the best out in you as a coach.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a two-time Super Bowl champ, will join us in just a little bit. He'll be coming in the studio. If you look at going back to his rookie year, 803 yards in his rookie campaign. Obviously, Isaiah Pacheco is a running back too now, so he's shared some carries there. They've added J.K. Dobbins from Baltimore, so that's to be a three-headed monster. He just signed, Clyde just signed a new contract with the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid. So they're going for back-to-back Super Bowl championships. He also, and I told him, asked him to bring the rings in here. I don't know if he will or not. Probably not, but if he could have brought the bling in here that we could see in a little bit, that would have been great. But 2019 national champion at LSU, man, just I want to take him back to 2019 with that team. If you look, a lot of those guys are playing in the NFL right now, just the amount of talent. A guy like Justin Jefferson, who was, as you and I both know, a two-star, maybe, out of Destrehan High School, that got a late offer from LSU, and now he's one of the highest-paid receivers. Or I think he just got a contract or is about to get a contract, highest-paid receiver in the NFL.
Definitely some great talent on that team, not only on offense but on the defensive side of the ball. But you look at receiver Jefferson, Chase, Marshall, Clyde, Burrow, those five guys, I believe all first-round draft picks, unless Marshall was a second-round pick for Carolina. I could be mistaken there, but a lot of talent there. Few players up front that were drafted that are having really good careers off that 19 team as well, and an excellent coaching staff. Dave Aranda coordinating the defense, of course, has had some success at Baylor, and the transfer portal has definitely hurt Baylor from that perspective, where they're having to compete with the big money schools like Texas and Texas A&M, in-state Oklahoma just to the north as well, and many other SEC schools as well. And that's kind of contributing to the downfall of Baylor. But they were in the Sugar Bowl, beat Ole Miss 2 or 3 years ago. Steve Ensminger is the offensive coordinator. What a great job he did. And then Joe Brady supplementing that offensive staff, bringing something to the table as well. So just a really good offensive staff and just a really good football team. One of the best ever.
You mentioned Terrace Marshall. I had a chance to meet Terrace in person in Donaldsonville, my hometown. Terrace was working the Stephen Sullivan camp. Sullivan was on that team as well. Sullivan's got a story behind him. He's with the Carolina Panthers as well, going into his 5th season. Him and Terrace Marshall are teammates. I'd have to look back, fact check you on when he was drafted. It might have been second round. I don't think it was first round. We could check it. But Terrace, super, super nice guy. I had a chance to meet him. He came and worked the camp this past Saturday where, the youth of Donaldsonville was able to come out and meet Stephen Sullivan and Terrace Marshall. And he had some former high school coaches there and some of Terrace's teammates when he was some of Stephen's teammates when he was at Donaldsonville working the camp. But, he was the third or fourth receiver, and he's really good.
And you look at, Clyde from Louisiana and those three receivers, Jefferson from Destrehan, Chase from Archbishop Rummel, Marshall from Parkway in Bossier City. Just homegrown talent. That was one thing that Ed Orgeron focused on, keeping the best players in state. Brian Kelly's doing the same. And one thing Brian Kelly has been intentional about, you look at their 10 full-time staff members, I think 6 of them graduated from Louisiana high schools. And that says a lot to have those guys on your staff. And then guys like Joe Sloan is a guy who coached at Louisiana Tech and then has been on the LSU staff. Bo Davis has been on the LSU staff previously. So you've got a great collection of guys that understand what it means to play in the state and just live up to that status of the boot is number one out there when you talk about high school talent. And you look at the number of players from Louisiana in the NFL and Division I football, and you always talk about the number of players per capita in Division I football and in NFL from Louisiana, and it's always right up there. So they do a great job of representing our state.
Yeah, Jefferson did sign a 4-year, $110 million contract, $140 million contract, $110 million guaranteed. So high school players, don't freak out if you're not a 3-star, a 4-star, or a 5-star. He was a 2-star, and he was a great talent, great technician, route runner. He's with the Vikings. He's got $110 million guaranteed, whether he plays another down of football in the NFL.
Contracts are crazy. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, just signed one. Tua as well. Tua has guaranteed money into 2027, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a guy that's completed one full season in his NFL career just due to injuries. And so teams are betting on these players, and they're getting guaranteed money, and the agents are doing a great job. That's what they're hired to do, and that's why the Kamara thing, us old school guys, hey, get your tail to camp and be a great teammate. And holding out, missing camp. Why? Because he wants a bigger contract. He wants more money. Let your agent do the talking. Let him talk to Loomis and Kai Hartley, who does the contracts for the Saints. Let them figure it out with your agent. Be there. But it's good to see these other guys get in, get their contract, get their money, get paid, so to speak. It's a business. You've got to protect yourself, and you got to look at the long run because at some point your playing clock does hit 0 and it expires. Even if you're Tom Brady and you're well into your 40s or Drew Brees at 40, clock runs out at some point, so you got to be set for life financially.
Joe obviously has set the bar, Joe Burrow, with the quarterback room, and more quarterbacks continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger contracts. He's got a 5-year, $275 million contract, $219 guaranteed annual salary of $55 million, a signing bonus of $40 million. So add the numbers up for the guys that won that 2019 LSU football team. That is, I can't add that high, the amount of contracts those guys have made off of that team.
Multiple millionaires, and well-deserved. And you look at what they did in 2019 for LSU, and then you look at their production in NFL and the roles that they play on their teams and their team's success and what they've done individually as well. It's impressive. And you talk about Jefferson being a 2-star for Destrehan, another example out of LSU, a guy that had a great college career for a short period of time, and then I think now is into his 12th season in the NFL and has just been a consistent performer, the Honey Badger. And when he was at St. Augustine in New Orleans, he was maybe a no-star.
I think it was a no-star.
And his head coach at the time, David Johnson, who's now the running backs coach at Florida State and a Nicholls State 1989 grad like you and I from high school, and
right.
A teammate of mine at Nicholls. And David was the head coach at St. Augustine and took the Honey Badger to the Tennessee football camp. And in one-on-ones, he shut everybody down. And then in 7-on-7, shut everybody down. They offered him. And then he came to LSU and word had spread. And after that offer, I think he became a 2 or 3 star player. He went to LSU and did the same thing. That's when they offered him, and that's when he committed, and he was a 4-star because of that. So, like you said, the young guys out there, the stars, they don't mean everything. Producing means everything.
No doubt about it. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're grabbing Clyde. Clyde's coming, I promise. Don't go anywhere. This is OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yeah, science. Who cares? It's overrated. You know it's not overrated? Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding. That's right. You go to GEAUXTommys.com. GEAUXTommys.com. And you take advantage of Tommy's 27 years of experience. Now, 7 years ago, after 2 decades of working in this business for another company, so you know what? I'm going to go and strike out on my own. And, well, all 7 years, Tommy's has taken away the Angie's Service Award. And that's because everything is about how they treat the customer, the integrity, the dependability, the efficiency of the work before, during, after. And that's why, don't take my word for it, let Tommy prove it to you. Make him one of the 3 bids on your next project.
So science might be overrated, but Tommy's properly rated, winning that Super Service Award every year since 2016. Check out the website for a gallery of testimonials, what they can do for you. Go Tommy's, GEAUXTommys.com.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review with Matt Moscone.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, previewing a busy recruiting weekend for the football Tigers and the latest in the baseball transfer portal. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Back on OTB. Folks, I know you're thinking we're baiting you in that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming. He is coming. He got stuck in traffic. There was an accident on I-12. Go figure. He's a very busy man, but he is en route. But we do have him on the phone right now. Clyde's going to stay on the phone until he walks up here. Clyde, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning. Good morning. How are y'all?
Man, they bashing you, dude. We promoting you coming in here. And
oh, yeah. Look, I'm getting text on the way in. And I'm like, man, I underestimated this traffic on 12. And then y'all know, like, the little 3 random cop cars that's on 12 coming in, going into Baton Rouge. Then everybody starts slamming on brakes right here, so it kind of causes a little congestion coming into Baton Rouge. But I'm about to be hopping off the 12 on government in a second.
you gonna talk to us till you walk up here, cause
yeah, all the way. Come on now, y'all know that. I wanted to be there for 8, and spend my whole hour. Y'all know that.
That's all right. We're gonna keep you. We're gonna lock you in. Your coach is here, Coach Eric Hill, and we got a lot to talk about, man. I'm gonna let Eric talk to you a minute before you get up here.
Most definitely.
Clyde, great to talk to you, see you in a short time. And I was telling Troy, he said, hey, what was it like for you guys to coach Troy? And I said, as his position coach for a few years, he was one of the tougher guys I had to coach. And I said, that's coming from a positive perspective where you had to be intentional about your drill work. You had to be intentional in your meetings, what clips you showed, what questions you had ready for the guys. And you better be ready because Clyde was sending the questions your way. And I told him at the time, I think you were a younger player where we didn't do so well in pass pro, and kind of just me and you one-on-one. You were respectful about it. I made sure I mentioned that. Coach, we didn't work too much pass pro with our drill work this past week. We might want to work a few more pass pro drills. And I was like, dang, this young guy's schooling up the coach, but it was a great point.
Most there, man. It's just hearing that and not even thinking about just past experiences or just just how something that small could potentially continue to kind of sprout something that that sparked something that we needed within the room. And not only that, it was something that I feel like it was like a chain reaction throughout the entire team and entire facility around that time at CHS. So it was, from that point, I feel like everything was transparent. We were able to talk about things, player to player and player to coach, like it should be. And the communication was open. And I feel like that's what made us better that year. Because, obviously we started off 0-3 the year we won the championship. So from that point on, just having that open line of communication, everything was perfect. And I feel like that kind of chain reaction through the whole team. And from that point, everything was smooth.
Visiting with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, national champion 2019, 2-time Super Bowl champion, member of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're already asking me a question, Clyde, in the chat. Have you gotten to meet Taylor Swift?
Yeah. I've met Taylor a couple times. Man, Taylor was actually supposed to come to my wedding, but she's performing. We talked on FaceTime. I'm real close with Travis, and Taylor personally. She called, she was with Travis, and then she was like, call Clyde because I don't think I'll be able to make it. I think she's performing in like New Zealand or like Ireland or something next weekend on the 29th. But I mean, she's down to earth, very cool. You know, has conversations with my fiance JoJo. I mean, it's not like any like star-struck moments or anything, man. Taylor's someone that you know, initially I felt like she had a great energy, but you know, being able to kind of talk to her and be around her was something a little different. And you know, I feel like that's why she got the wedding invitation. But you know, Travis is like a brother to me, so that was something that we extended. And you know, being able to, she wasn't able to make it, but I mean, just having that, as busy as person she is, she was able to call ahead of time and you know, let us know that she wasn't going to be able to make it. So I mean, right now I feel like our relationship is cool. So
I'm a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie, man.
I'm most definitely a Swiftie. I met a couple guys in the airport. They bought my jersey because they were Swifties, and I told them, man, that's my girl. So, man, Taylor helping everybody out, I feel.
That's awesome. My wife said, do not ask Clyde about Taylor Swift. So Troy picked it up.
Sorry, I had to. The chat asked.
Absolutely.
Well,
You've got to ask. You've got to ask.
Most def. I mean, that's something that, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, how can you be bad about that? I like Taylor Swift. I like her music, too.
It's got to be asked. Something else off the field. Talk about Taylor Swift. Something off the field with your association with the Chiefs, being this is going into your 5th season.
Yes, sir.
Off the field, give the listeners out there some insight into what you're doing right now over the past few months to prepare yourself for life after football with professional development.
Man, so it's a way. Well, just in general, my you know, I've been kind of planning my wedding, and I actually been in Baton Rouge, man, since after we won the championship. I immediately came home, and I've been spending the last few months here. I've been kind of incognito, in and out, but for the most part, I've been home. Been able to. I actually been working out with Patrick Queen. PQ and I work out with Clay Moffitt in the mornings, and then in the evenings I get my one-on-one sessions with Kevin Falk at LSU. So that's kind of been my thing, athletic wise. And then as far as, you know, my education, back in school, I actually didn't do this semester because obviously I'm planning this wedding, but back in school to kind of finish everything up. And I'll be graduating in kinesiology, study of moving of the body. It should be this upcoming winter, if not going into the spring, just because my big thing, I really want to walk, and I don't think I'll be able to walk in the winter during football season. So I'll be getting that degree, and then immediately trying to figure out which nursing program I'll be trying to enroll in, and figure out, you know, just going into middle school and being able to kind of get that ball rolling with nursing. So before I gotta just strike this match with finishing this kines thing up, and but I'm pretty much all the way done with that, and then that's it, man. And then you know, just as far as other things that you know I'm heading into, we have Elite, the building Elite. We're building. It's Joe Burrow, Ben Bordelon, Landry from you know, walk-ons. Greg Stringfellow is our GM, and we are currently in the process of getting that open. Should be open around sometime in August for a grand opening. Elite Sports Academy. So, I mean, it's going to be a full football facility. Right now, Oshner is up and rolling, and they're connected to us. It's right there off Burbank. So, I mean, right now everything is going in a great direction, and I'm just trying to do whatever I can do to kind of, you know, put Baton Rouge in the right direction. That's my biggest thing. I love being home. I love being in Louisiana. So anything I can try to do to try to, you know, get our community rolling is something that I've been striving to do. So it's pretty much been my plan these last couple months, and still busy, still rolling.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. How close are you, Clyde?
I'm getting off on government now. These people just, I mean, I don't want to, man, I'm in this.
How's Kansas City traffic compared to this?
Kansas City is like mainly all interstate, man. So like once I leave the house, it's like I'm hopping on the interstate and the facility is 15 minutes from the house. So it's literally I'm 14 minutes on the interstate. And then, I mean, it's a little different. It's not as much like city traffic. The only city traffic is downtown, but I'm making a left on government now.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna grab you from down in the parking lot.
Most def. I'm about to pull in.
And we're gonna start a fresh segment with you in studio. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in studio with the coach and I next on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
GetGordon.com is the website where you can do it all. You can get a free consultation set up on the website. You can have a chat with them right there. Also on the website, you can find past client results, cases they can handle for you in the courtroom. All that information, again, great tool over at GetGordon.com. GetGordon is also going to be the handle on all major social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Go to Get Gordon, and then you'll see what they're doing in the community, because they're always doing something in the community as well. They're always doing something with your favorite athletes in the state of Louisiana, here in Baton Rouge, in Lafayette, in North Louisiana, all over the place. They are doing big things with athletes here in the state. Now, if you want to pick up the phone and give them a call, we give it to you every single day throughout the state of Louisiana. All you have to do is put your area code followed by the 8s, 888-8888. That's Get Gordon, GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150, $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150, and all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined.
GIF edition of Live at Lunch, live at Rufino's, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. My man, Devin Hold the Mayo Snow, will be co-hosting for the entire show. Come by and see us. Live at Lunch, live at Rufino's, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Friday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Sexy. Okay, yeah, that's a soft. Didn't want to get with
you. All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Coach, they doubted us, Coach.
There you go.
Coach, they doubted us. They doubted us.
They did.
That the man would be in studio. Get a shot of him. Get a straight shot of him. They don't want to look at him. They don't want to look at us.
With a camera.
Just look straight right there. Man, it's great to have you in here, dude.
I'm blocked on that one. I can't.
Slide on over.
Look, see, yeah.
There you go.
There we go. This is live, baby. Clyde Edwards-Helaire in studio with us. So you beat the traffic.
Getting it.
You getting it, baby.
I shouldn't say that.
That's okay.
Don't drive fast.
That's okay. Yeah, no, well, this is a public service announcement from Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it, man. There's a bunch of questions we're going to try to get to. But one question I want to ask, take us back to 2019, just to watch what that team did. When you scored the touchdown against Alabama, I was in like another universe. I was like, I didn't know how to act and how to feel. How did you feel throughout that season? Especially, that had to be your most favorite moment, other than winning the national championship.
Most def. Just every time I get the question about the 2019 team, the only thing I can think about is the summer before. And I mean, they have articles about it. People talked about it, but they called it the summer of 10,000 catches. And I mean, we were in the facility Monday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday without any of the coaches there, all the skill positions on offense. And it was something that Joe facilitated, and then from that point, it was just everybody buying in to the point to where if a person didn't show up, I mean, we were pretty much on them. And that summer, it showed that it just felt like everybody wanted it. It was different. Just the attention to detail where we were away from the coaches. It was something that I've never been around or seen at that point. I mean, we were 18, 19 years old. I mean, Joe was a little older, so he had seen some things, but I mean, for the most part, everybody was just young dudes out there holding each other accountable, and the attention to detail was just so pinpointed to the point to where once we got out there on the field, we weren't even worried about the guys on the opposite side. It was just us trying to perfect to do the things that we knew that we worked on, and we wanted to present to the world that, obviously we were the best at it, and we proved that. Not one L.
You mentioned Joe and the last two quarterbacks that you've been around full time. Pretty good. Joe Burrow, one of the best college quarterbacks ever, one of the best seasons, if not the best season. And then, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Those two guys, you mentioned Joe facilitating those off-season workouts and just really bringing something extra that permeated through not only the offense but through the entire team. Something we see Mahomes, and you see that every day, and how his leadership. A lot of times you have separate rooms, separate sides with offense and defense, and they don't mesh. But Joe, everybody kind of followed Joe's lead, and
yeah.
Joe, even on defense, and you have the infamous with the offense and defensive fights going in the locker room, the trash talking and on the field, and the dust up between Joe and a couple defensive guys at practice. But you mentioned Joe facilitating that. What are the similarities that you see Joe with his 2 years at LSU and your 4 years in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes?
Man, the thing is they are two totally different players, and being able to be, I mean, I'll sit here and say it. I played with the two best quarterbacks. I feel like play the game, and it's as simple as that. And being a guy who obviously is standing right on side of him for these things, you know, I just feel like I'm something that, you know, that brings that niche too, that gives them that comfortability of being able to know that they can get their job done. And once I feel like once they felt like they were comfortable in that aspect, everything else just came natural. The things that I feel like just the similarity is, you know, obviously attention to detail, but the amount of film that the guys watch, the hole in the iPad, it seemed like Pat is never away from his iPad. And when we were in college, it seemed like Joe either was always in the facility watching film, and if he wasn't, you called Joe and he was at the house, like either doing something, like helping with his progressions or reads, or I mean, doing what any kid would do. He's playing games. He's only playing Rocket League. But it just showed like anything outside of getting better, you know, they don't endeavor in it. They go in and figure out what they need to do, and they get it done. And that's something that, you know, being around it, I see two of the best guys doing it. And once they kind of see something that needs to be improved, they go completely in on it, figure it out, and then find a way to make it their own and make it advanced. And that's the coolest part about it. And being able to be around these guys and seeing two different playing styles become the best at what they're doing. So it's cool.
And two great teammates at that.
Oh man, but that's just, you know, that's always the icing on the cake. Just being, I mean, my locker's right next to passing down, and then when I was in college, I was probably two or three lockers down from Joe. So it's just that aura, being able to kind of just feel like you're going to win once you're next to them. You know, that's the best feeling. And once they know that they can look you in the eye and get that same reaction and get that same, you know, drive out of a guy who obviously has to protect them. If it's not the O-line, literally running back, last line of defense. So my job is to make sure my guy is clean no matter what. And you know, if they can trust you, everything else is just proof in the pudding.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire in studio. We certainly appreciate it. Ask Clyde, what is it from Eric? What is it like playing for a legend like Coach Andy Reid? He seems fun, dude.
Yeah, Coach Reid is man, it's a cool thing, and we always talk about it, but that's why I was texting Coach Hill talking about bringing the ring. I was gonna turn around and but you know, everybody was on me about getting in the studio since they don't think I was gonna show up. But the play, Tom and Jerry, that's engraved on a ring, literally my rookie year, the first time we actually did the underhand toss was a play that Travis and I made up with Pat, because we don't do special teams. So special teams period, you know how that goes.
Right, yep.
Quarterback, running back, tight end, cool. Y'all go over there.
Do y'all thing.
Clown around.
Right.
So we called the play. Pat just over there like, oh, I'm going to just toss it behind my back. And Travis like, yeah, I'm going to just do this. And so we just over there clowning around and just made some stuff up. I do inside zone step, come back under Pat, like I'm going to just toss it behind my back. Coach Reid on like field 2. And then he just kind of just waddles over there. And he was like, all right, this is what I want you to do. Line up, inside zone footstep. Travis, we gonna do a shave motion, and that's how initially it was. You come over, come back, inside zone step, and then Pat will toss it underneath. And we named it Tom and Jerry because, you know, Tom, Jerry, literally Travis and Clyde, because
right.
we were always together. So we had to play Tom and Jerry, and that is, the play came up just us clowning around. And it's just being able to play with, you know, having a coach like that who's just so observant. Like we over there, you know, clowning around and doing whatever, and he is like, okay, these guys are clowning around, but they're actually doing something that could potentially help us in a game, and or is something that could be implemented in our offense. And I mean, this was 4 years ago now, five and a half years ago, and Coach Reeves was like, "This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it in the game next week." And from that point, it's just been a staple in the offense. From that point now, we probably scored like 15 touchdowns on it. And to have that play, the play that wins our second Super Bowl, and the passing concept was implemented, I think 2 or 3 years ago to the flat to Mackel. It just goes to show you that everything is building blocks, and Coach Reed is just one of those guys who can not only use his guys to the best of their ability and use his chess pieces, but I mean, it's the same offense, and everybody thinks we changing things up, but it's just having a coach like that who can utilize his positions and players to the best of their ability and get them in the positions where we need to be in order to be the greatest that we are. And we have 2 Super Bowl rings to show it. I literally played in 3 bowls, and I'm going to year 5. So
it's amazing.
It's something that just being a part of a dynasty is great, and then being in the middle of it now.
So basically, you're saying folks out there, there's hope for you. You can watch cartoons and you become an offensive coordinator in the NFL, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the imagination,
right?
I mean, football is a game. Football is fun. If you're not having fun, why are you playing it?
Right.
And I mean, just going every day in the offensive meeting room or the coach's team room with Coach Hale. That's where the running backs. That's where we had our meetings in high school. I mean, having fun from that point on. It started early. Being able to walk into meetings with a smile, and even if it was something that I was getting corrected, it was something that we did enjoyable, and something that I completely fell in love with. And I remember telling my mom, like, I could play this sport without getting paid. I mean, I just love it that much. I don't know, like, putting my helmet on is kind of my identity, and it always felt that way. And I know a lot of football players, have trouble with that afterwards. But like, I know what I want to be afterwards. But it's just being able to kind of have that alter ego and have that superpower as far as being able to put that helmet on and go out there and showcase it. It's something that not only warms me, but for other people who can't do it, who feel like they're living through us, is gives you that fire to go out there and try your best and do your best and become a champion.
Well, we're going to make you a host on this next segment. We got Sam Spiegelman coming on, and Sam probably gave you maybe 1 or 2 stars. We'll see how many.
Most there. I think like 1.5.
You go Bella rib him on that. We'll get Sam Spiegelman from Rivals up next. Don't go anywhere. We got the Coach Eric Hale, Troy LaBeouf, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in studio. Don't go anywhere.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to ColemanRoof.com. ColemanRoof.com is where you can find the contact information for Coleman Roof. Obviously, throughout the state of Louisiana, commercial and residential, they can help you out. Any major commercial job, I mean, they'll come in. They've done it so many times here in this Baton Rouge area, but they can do it throughout the state of Louisiana. Now, residential, something that they can do for you, like a one-stop shop that you're not going to find many places, is it's also the construction part of what Coleman Roof is going to do. So, as we know, like, we've had a lot of rain lately, and I don't know what this hurricane season is going to look like, but if it, does ramp up, and let's say the rain continues to pour down and you find out that you have a leak, and maybe it was overnight, you didn't know you had it, and then your drywall, your flooring, all that's ruined. Well, they can come in at Coleman Roof. They can fix everything. They are a true one-stop shop. Of course, they can fix your roof, the leak there. They can fix the flooring, fix the drywall. They'll have you ready, back up, and ready to go. Again, check out their website, ColemanRoof.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
Join me for a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, presented by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Preston Guy talking football, and I guess we will preview the College World Series final. I'll get through it one way or another. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, go to AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. Today, schedule your appointment because, well, I mean, I know this week we got a little bit of relief from the heat because of the rain, but we all know what it is. I mean, that heat is going to be right back on our backs here coming up very soon. It's South Louisiana. It is what it is. So you got to make sure that your AC is working and it's working at its peak performance, because you're going to have to, use this thing overtime. We all know that. So even if you don't have an issue, like, make sure you're doing the proper maintenance for your AC unit so it doesn't go out on you. Then you have a situation where you're at, without your AC for a couple of days. Make sure that you're doing that maintenance. Be a part of that STAR membership program. AccuTemp offers like T-Bob and I. You can learn that information, schedule an appointment on their website, top right corner of the site, AccuTempBR.com.
Final segment of hour number 2. We're gonna get a guest on, a guy that is great at what he does, but we're gonna challenge him right now. Sam Spiegelman of Rivals. He's back with Rivals. Sam, good morning. How are you?
You got me nervous. What am I getting challenged about here, Troy?
You're getting challenged on a guy that you gave like a 1.5 star to back in the day, a few years ago. He not only won a state championship in high school, he won a championship, a national championship at LSU, and he's won 2 Super Bowls. He's in studio with us. He's got a little beef with you, and I want you to guess who that is.
Oh, now I know you're lying, because Clyde and I are as good as it comes.
Take it away, Clyde. Talk to you guys, Sam Spiegelman.
What's up, Sam? How you, bro?
How's it going, champ? How's it going, man?
Man, going good, man. You at Rivals? You back at Rivals?
I'm back at Rivals. You know, everything's come full circle here.
Man, that's exciting. That's exciting. I still go on the Rivals websites and still look at some stuff.
What was the write-up on Clyde Edwards-Helaire when he came out of high school, Sam?
Listen, I've been, obviously, since you reached out, I've been thinking about covering Clyde from back in, it seems like it's been a while at this point, because we know he's a Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Before that, like you said, he's a state champ, a national champ. You can't ignore the pedigree of winning. To me, Clyde is the ultimate cur dog. I hope all the Catholic fans are listening, because Clyde represents everything that high school program represents to a T. I remember the first time I saw him play in the Superdome. Obviously, that game doesn't need to go with it. Catholic set the tone. He got the offer from Coach Les Miles right after. He committed to LSU shortly after, but really, from an evaluation standpoint, what he did at the opening was so eye-opening. You saw him out of his pads. You saw the testing numbers. You saw the unbelievable athletic traits, the testing numbers that obviously worked when he got to the NFL Combine. It showed when he was at LSU around a bunch of stars and a great offensive line. Clyde has been the proof that, if you do things the right way and you trust the process, everything is going to work out. Looking back, he should have been one of the top 50 players in the country. I do believe he was a 4-star by the time it was over. But that probably, you see, he ended up being a first-round pick. That's higher than we expected. And all the championships, I don't think he's looking back at his star ranking now wondering what if he was ranked a little bit higher, though.
He can remind people about it. He can remind Sam, real quick, LSU obviously doing a great job in recruiting Brian Kelly, but boy, Brad Davis is on a heater right now, man. You got the recruiting guys back in there. You got Coach Frank. You got Cortez. Talk about what LSU's doing right now with recruiting.
I felt like this time a year ago, we were talking about exactly that. Brad Davis, Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, Frank Wilson being back in Baton Rouge. And now you need to throw a couple more names there. Bo Davis, Blake Baker, Corey Raymond. Those are 3 guys that LSU fans already know that their second stint back in Baton Rouge, and behind Brian Kelly, who, when he was hired a couple of years ago, everyone was a little bit hesitant to say that he would thrive in the SEC in Baton Rouge and Louisiana. And now he has assembled easily an all-star version of this LSU staff. On offense, you have Cortez Hankton and Joe Sloan calling the plays. Joe is working with quarterbacks, and he's, trying to think about some of the best quarterback rooms in the country. After this year, when they signed one of the best quarterbacks, Bryce Underwood out of Michigan, they're going to have one of the best-looking quarterback rooms in the country. And then with Cortez Hankton, his track record from his time at Vanderbilt to Georgia to LSU, and the way he recruits New Orleans and this state, second to none, not to mention the way he develops his receivers. What Bo Davis and Brad Davis are going to do on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Brad Davis has been doing this. He's also obviously a Louisiana guy, but offensive line has kind of been the bugaboo for LSU for, before Clyde got there. But since Brad Davis has, they have 2 first-round picks on each end of the offensive line. He's continuing to recruit at a high level, and he's recruiting. If you're recruiting Louisiana, you can't just recruit New Orleans and Baton Rouge. You got to go up into North Louisiana. You have to go out into Acadiana. You have to go into Mississippi and Texas and East Texas. Brad does that better than anyone. I think they brought Bo back because they've needed some help along the defensive line. I think that D-line recruiting at LSU needed another notch up. They have some obviously great players right now. But I think bringing Bo back, Bo is integral in getting Dom McKinley back in the fold for LSU.
Sam, thank you, buddy. We got to run, man. I'm sorry we push you there, but thanks for coming on. I want to get you back on where we can do it a little bit longer next time.
Of course.
Thanks.
Good to talk to you, Clyde.
Thanks, Sam.
Later, Sam.
We'll be right back.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Or you go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Speaking of vacations, we took a lot of vacations here on this show between T-Bob and Taylor. If you're going on a vacation, you should rent a Toyota from All Star Toyota. Everything's available, right? If you need a truck, multiple options. If you need a midsize SUV, multiple options. If you need a full-size SUV, van, hybrid, whatever, well, you can get that done because everything that you see available as far as a new vehicle or a vehicle that you can lease is also available in the rental department. Again, you don't find that anywhere else, but you'll find it over at All-Star. Call Miss Lisa Sessions today in that rental department to get that scheduled and reserved. But also, why would you not go check out the new vehicles and the leases? I've taken advantage of leasing a Toyota from All-Star. It's been an incredible process, very easy. If you want to buy new right now, I got new models on the lot, Sienna minivan, Murdered Out Mini. You can have that as well, custom as custom can be, All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, hour number 3. This one has flown by, and we can't thank our guest enough. I got to give credit to my co-host, Coach Eric Hale, for getting Clyde in here. Clyde, man, tell him what you're going to do when you leave here.
I'm going to get my marriage license, man. Yeah, y'all know. So, man, last week I was texting my mom trying to figure out if we should get the marriage license here or if we should get it in California because I wanted the paper to look cool. Because obviously I'm going to frame it and stuff, but I mean,
Taylor Swift will not be at the wedding.
Taylor won't be at the wedding, so y'all can't show up randomly. Everybody, all this stuff just probably was gonna be flowing around if she was gonna be there, but I wouldn't have said anything if she was coming.
Tiger Stadium versus Kansas City Stadium. What's better?
I'm Tiger Stadium through and through.
Yeah.
I mean, but as far as being in the NFL, the best stadium by far in the NFL is Arrowhead, and it's it's obvious because you got people that, you know, I'm in the league and you got dudes that come there like, bro, it's so loud in there. Like,
that's crazy.
And for me, it wasn't a difference. I was kind of used to it because I was coming from LSU to Arrowhead. So some guys who went to different teams, they felt the experience of, I mean, not really having all the stadiums full. And like the first year it was COVID, but I mean, we were still, you know, on the borderline of selling out of every, you know, the seats that we did have. I mean, other than that, the Saints Superdome, I mean, it got loud. It gets.
You heard that? He's going to the Saints next, guys. On his next big contract.
Put it in the air, man.
Yeah, you never know, man.
You never know.
We can't thank you enough for coming. We appreciate it. You are going to try to come back.
Most definitely.
Bring the rings.
Yeah.
Get in there with Jake and
I sent the text. I sent the text on the way here. Asked him if I needed to turn around to go get him. So.
Well, we wanted you here, man.
Yeah.
Coach, final thoughts for Clyde?
Yeah, just great to see him. Great to catch up in person. It's been a while. Mentioned before we talk by text, and I don't bug him too much because he's busy, and it's a great job. It's a cool job to be a professional athlete, and one day you'll have to talk about when we have more time, when the game's over on Sunday, and then the next day on Monday, that week leading up to what goes on, and it's full time at the building, just like any other job, and the preparation and hours that go into it, and the attention to detail stuff, and things that you look at with film, and the meetings and more meetings and walkthroughs, and everything's at the building. Eat at the building, take a nap at the building, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, before we go, I ain't going to go without telling you, I wouldn't be in this position without you, Coach, most definitely. And I tell my mom, my dad, that everybody, being in that meeting room, especially high school, you know, you showed me the ropes, especially early on. So I really appreciate it.
Appreciate that. A lot of people had a hand in that, in your development, but mainly your parents had the biggest role in that, because great person, and the direction that they showed you, and easy to coach, but made it tough as well, which made us better coaches, everybody on that staff. So really cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Clyde.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Clyde's going to be rolling out on us now, but we're going to go to the phone lines, get our guy in. Fletcher Mackel, WDSU Sports Director. We're going to transition to a little bit Saints and Pelicans. Fletcher, how are you, my friend?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me.
We had the great Clyde Edwards-Helaire here in studio with us, so we were pushing up against your time, but he gave us some time, and we wanted to have him as long as we could to talk about what he's got going on. But you got a lot going on, covering the Saints and covering the Pelicans. Let's start with Saints first. You can follow Fletcher on Twitter at FletcherWDSU. Saints first. Everybody is asking Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. They're trying to compare the two with contracts, and will the Saints budge on the number? Jump into that a little bit with Alvin Kamara kind of walking away from the training camp right now.
Yeah, obviously it's over a contract situation. So Alvin Kamara, just for your listeners and people that they know, Alvin Kamara has 2 years left on his contract, but the guaranteed money is up after this year. The way they structured his contract, it's not foreign. I mean, the Saints do a lot of deals this way, and a lot of teams do it this way. So Alvin Kamara's salary next year is going to jump to $22.5 million. As a running back in the NFL, he's never getting that. So he wants more long-term money, more commitment from the Saints. The Saints, I think, have trepidation about that because he's a 29-year-old running back. You know, he plays a position that is no longer a prestige position in the NFL. It's no longer what it was back in the 90s and early 2000s, say. And he's also coming off the worst year of his career. So, again, we're at a little bit of a cross there. I certainly know what Alvin Kamara has meant to this team, and I certainly see the flashes of the player that he has been. I think he looks at himself as Christian McCaffrey, who's the reigning offensive player of the year, and says, well, with the right offense, I can be that player again. Let's get something done and lock me in long term. But I think the Saints are kind of like, look, maybe you're never going to be that player again, and how do we know all this is going to work? So I'm curious to see who flinches first. Does Alvin, play angry on the remaining deal that he has with no guarantees after this year? Does he sit out well in the training camp? It's going to be, look, they're in Southern California by Hollywood, and we've got some serious drama coming up at the end of July at training camp. Is he going to show up or is he going to hold out?
Fletcher, keeping on the offensive side of the ball with the drama with Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, no longer a Saint, Ramczyk, the speculation that his playing days are over. Some of the biggest overlooked offseason news on offense is the offensive staff rebuild, with an entire new staff moving away from the Sean Payton era completely now, with Pete Carmichael no longer there and some of those holdovers from the Payton staff. Now it's the Clint Kubiak show. Talk about what you've seen in the OTA's minicamp and the effect that he's had on Carr and the other playmakers on offense with this new offense.
So I'll say this, and I kind of give the same answer, and it's a little bit in jest. It's the end of June. 32 NFL teams right now are Super Bowl champions. Like, hope reigns supreme right now. Every rookie looks awesome for every team. Every veteran player looks like they're in great shape. All the structure and the systems that they're putting in are awesome right now. So, and I obviously am joking, but right now, if you go to Jacksonville or if you go to Detroit, they're Super Bowl champions. Or if you go, even to a team that has struggled, Washington right now feels Jaden Daniels can do what C.J. Stroud did last year. So, I think everybody, is all in on the hope train right now, and that's fine. Look, Derek Carr looked good last offseason. I tell people that all the time. Derek Carr got here last year, and this is a talented guy. This is a guy that passes the eyeball test, and when you watch him throw, he can spin it. He makes all the throws. He's got, like everything about him says he should be a really elite NFL quarterback. Unfortunately, he's never become a really elite NFL quarterback. I certainly understand where Clint Kubiak came from. I think Kyle Shanahan is with Andy Reid, one of the two best coaches in the NFL. And you look at that offense, and it is borderline genius the way they operate and what they do and what they've had to deal with and to make it operate as effectively. I mean, when you end up on your third quarterback, Brock Purdy, and you're still in the NFC Championship game, and then Purdy doing what he did last year, look, you find the right players, but the system means a lot too. And San Francisco system is great. I think Clint Kubiak is a good coach. I think that what he's done here, everybody seems to be buying into. The players seem to respond to the offense. The way he talks about it makes it seem as if we should all believe in this. But at the end of the day, I think we'll believe in this more when we see it in a way that works. Because I saw the Saints offense operate at a high clip for a very long time, and I know Pete Carmichael is a really good coach. Yet last year at the beginning of the season, offensive line struggles, Carr's inability to execute this offense effectively really doomed them at the beginning of the season. Now, they got better at the end of the season, but it took them a long time to adjust to this and grasp this. I'm just curious, do they all learning this new offense together grasp it week one against Carolina, or is it a struggle? But we'll see. But I know that all the players talk very highly of Clint Kubiak, and the portions of practice that we have seen have looked good. Carr looks good. Jake Haener, his backup, looks good. Rashid Shaheed has looked good. Chris Olave looks like he's ready to be that number one receiver. So it's all looked good, but we haven't really seen it for real yet.
Visiting with Fletcher Mackel, WDSU Sports Director, at Fletcher WDSU on Twitter. Go follow him on Twitter, because we're going to talk in the next couple of minutes about the Pelicans, and he does these awesome trades where he throws these names in there on who Brandon Ingram's going to go to and who the Pelicans are going to get. Keep doing those. I enjoy those. But let's jump into the Pelicans. Willie Green obviously has done a good job. He'll be back, but will Monty Williams come back with him over here?
So I don't know if Monty's going to come back. Obviously, the ties that bind, a lot of people between the Pistons and the Pelicans is very unique. I know there's some scuttlebutt. I don't think Willie's leaving New Orleans, but just so people know, Willie Green, the Pelicans head coach, is born and raised in Detroit from Cooley High School and in Detroit Mercy University. Trajan Langdon, who used to be the general manager of the Pelicans until 2 weeks ago, is now the president of basketball operations in Detroit. I don't think he's going to make a play for Willie, but I wouldn't say it's entirely off the table. But then the scenario that you brought up is Monty Williams. Willie Green played for him here in New Orleans, and then Willie Green coached with Monty Williams as his assistant when they were both in Phoenix, and Monty led the Phoenix Suns to the finals 3 years ago. So I guess I could see Willie. He loves Monty. Monty is a mentor to him. Everybody really likes Monty. Everybody really likes Willie. I mean, these are former players that connect with the locker room in a much different way than a coach who hasn't been there, done that. You know, Willie connects in a way that Stan Van Gundy never could. That even Alvin Gentry couldn't, because Alvin Gentry wasn't a former player. So I could certainly see Monty coming back. The reason why I don't think Monty's coming back is Monty got $65 million to get fired yesterday. They fired him 1 year into a 6-year deal. I think Monty's probably going to take a year off since he just got, a lottery ticket of $65 million. And I always tell people, somebody at work yesterday was, will Coach O coach again? And I said, maybe if the right opportunity pops up, but LSU gave Ed Ozier on a lottery ticket to leave. Detroit gave Monty Williams a lottery ticket to leave. And so I don't know if he's going to get back in coaching right away.
Fletcher, as we close out this segment with you, your take on J.J. Redick. No coaching experience, and the Lakers make a huge swing at Dan Hurley, and they swung big and swung hard and struck out, unfortunately, but they land J.J. Redick, someone without any coaching experience. Talk about the street cred that he has and the respect that he will have leading LeBron James and that crew out there in the Laker organization.
Yeah, so I really like J.J. Redick. He spent 2 years here. He got traded at the end of his second year, so basically almost 2 full seasons here. Smart guy, self-aware. I mean, I loved his time here, even though some of it was during COVID. He was. You could just tell right away. I mean, it was the IQ is off the charts, the personality is off the charts. That's why I think he's moved seamlessly into media, and he's calling games at the NBA Finals. I mean, his podcast is uber successful. So it's a non-traditional hire. He is the 11th. Here's a stat. He is the 11th head coach in the NBA since 1999 with 0 experience. So this isn't new. Doc Rivers had no experience. Isaiah Thomas had no experience. Steve Kerr had never been a coach before. Steve Nash had never been a coach before. I mean, the list goes on and on. Derek Fisher, Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd. So this isn't an anomaly in the NBA. Former players go to the coaching ranks with no experience, but the level of success has been measured differently. Obviously, Steve Nash and Derek Fisher were pretty bad as head coaches that had no experience, but Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers, Jason Kidd have all had solid success. Coaching the Lakers is a different kind of beast. Coaching LeBron at the end of his career when every game is a championship is hard. But believe it or not, I actually like J.J. Redick and think he may be the one that does okay there.
Fletcher, I can't thank you enough for coming on and giving us your time, man. What year is this for you at WDSU?
It is 22, and I apologize. I talk a lot. My answers have a hang time of like 5 minutes.
You're good.
So thanks for letting me on. But yeah, 22 years now at WDSU.
And your brother is with you guys as well, correct?
Yep, my twin brother. He got hired 21 years ago, so we are kind of a duo, that package deal that comes together, and we're still there 2 decades later. It's been a great run, and hopefully 20 more ahead.
Well, keep putting those trade scenarios, and I like to follow those, man. I want to see it. I want to see it.
No problem. It's gonna be a busy few weeks. Get ready.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming on, Fletcher. That's Fletcher Mackel, WDSU. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some more. We got to get back into LSU football. There's a lot we hadn't covered yet, and I know people want to hear about LSU. There's so much more to cover as well. So we'll be right on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
.com, Pinnacle Exterior Construction. So many different things they can do for you. Pools, outdoor living, fences of any kind, bulkheads, as well. And one of the things we've been telling you about over the last couple of days and weeks is the outdoor turf they can do for you, right? Like we know it's going to rain here in South Louisiana. That's just going to be the case. And unfortunately, like if you don't have the turf space, well, even if it's not raining, you can't do anything out there. Can't have any activities. Can't have the putting green. Can't have the workout space because, well, it's wet and muddy. But if you have the turf installed by Pinnacle, if it's not raining, then you're going to be okay. Like you're going to have this space that you can have all these activities. You can have so much fun, you, the kids, whatever it might be, and they can come in and they can give you that space. We talked about it. Any kind of fence that you need, they've got you covered. Don't forget pools, outdoor living. Find it all at pecbuilt.com.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench with Esther and T-Bob, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review with Matt Moscone.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscone. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family,
Matt Moscone inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, previewing a busy recruiting weekend for the football Tigers and the latest in the baseball transfer portal. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Esther and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
This is a good one. Don't know what it is, but it's good. What is this, Coach?
Is it?
You got it.
I wanted to say T-Pain.
He's in it.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in the song.
Oh, that kind of counts. I get a credit for it.
Who's the other? You got it.
Give him a ding.
I think you know who the other person that actually sings this is.
Jay-Z?
No,
Kanye?
it's Kanye. There you go.
Gosh. Yeah. Okay. I said, God, I'm disappointed now. I was pumped up when I got T-Pain.
Yeah. God. No, that was good that you got T-Pain because it's featuring T-Pain.
I thought we'd get Taylor Swift coming out.
I should have, yeah.
Could you imagine
if she showed up at the wedding?
I would have been like, Clyde,
Kelsey,
can I get a little invite?
If he allows videos to be put out on social media, can you only imagine the show that Travis Kelce will put on at that wedding reception?
Lord have mercy.
Yes, Lord help us. I think that's one thing that he'll probably do. Hey, guys, ladies, got to be smart with your use of social media videos.
It's going to be hard.
It is.
You know, the only chance they have of not something getting out is if they collect phones in a classroom.
Sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Right. If you were not a fan of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I was, but it just shows you how that guy is real, man. He's genuine. I could see why he's as successful as he is from when you guys had him at Catholic, and he always took care of business. You know, he became one of the first and few freshmen that played at Catholic High. That just doesn't happen typically. But you can see why he's been successful as he is. We talked about the Saints thing. Said throw it up in the air. You never know. You know, because that'd be awesome if he got to. I don't know if they're going to call home Louisiana or not. He took care of his mom. He told us as soon as he went to the NFL.
Has a place out in the country off of I-12.
Right.
You never know. And I know this offseason, the Saints were a possibility.
Right.
And it's great to see him go back to KC, and it shows how much they love him and how much he means to the locker room, and those things don't get talked about enough. There's so many players out there who are so important to the locker room. He talked about his relationship with Mahomes and Kelsey, and I can tell you those guys, hey, Coach, we need to make sure we keep 25 here in Kansas City. He's so important to the operation, and you could see in the Super Bowl celebration, in the relationship not only with all his teammates but with the players' wives and girlfriends, how much he meant to those, and the relationship he has with Patrick and Brittany Mahomes, where he sprints across the street and sees her for the first time at the parade, and she runs across and gives him a big giant hug. And he's that type of guy. You got to see it. His personality, it rubs off on you, and tremendous kid.
Alondra, y'all talked about him coming back, right?
Yeah, so he wanted to talk to Jake, but Jake is busy right now. So I told him, if you want to come back, I'll hit you up. You hit me up. Tell me what days you're free, and when the whole crew's back, we'll
bring the bling.
Yeah, we'll bring him in with the whole crew. And I don't know if you'd bring those rings around T, but
that's great.
Maybe T's got some bling, right? He was part of.
He's got bling.
He's got a little bit of bling. No, it's Super Bowl
Jake too.
Bling. Yeah, Jake does too. Obviously, so many questions still for this LSU football team going into the offseason. We feel like offensively, Coach, that they're going to be good again. I mean, what they did this past year was amazing. If the defense could have been just average last year, I think this team could have been knocking on the door of maybe being a playoff contender. But now with the field expanding to 12, if you look at the pecking order of the SEC, I mean, you got to start with Georgia. You would have, in the past, said Alabama next or LSU. But I believe Texas has got all the ingredients to be that next team. Then maybe you have an Alabama. Alabama's not dead. I'm telling you, they're going to be good.
Despite what Scona says.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great skit. I think it's awesome how they do it, and he has angered those Alabama fans so bad now. But people are, and I know Jake likes Missouri. He talks about Missouri, and I think they're going to be good. And then there's Ole Miss. Where does LSU fall in that pecking order? I mean, do you put them, to me, Georgia, Texas? Then you got Oklahoma we hadn't talked about as well. Ole Miss has sold everything out for this season.
They have.
So
and I think the head coach is selling everything out for this season, because if you look at one of the hot seat coaching jobs, which we always like to talk about when we pinch hit during the summer preceding college football season, is Florida and Coach Napier and what they do over there in Gainesville. If they don't make a bowl, if they go 6-6, make a bowl 7-5, does he stick around? And Lane Kiffin is selling out this year, Ole Miss, because if the Florida job opens, Lane Kiffin will be one of the first guys mentioned to fill that vacancy in Gainesville.
You think? I can't disagree with that.
I think so. And then going back to Texas, Quinn Ewers is back. Probably if you gave me money to bet on the Heisman winner, I'd take Quinn Ewers. They were in the Final Four last year. They were close, and I think that's smart on your part to say after Georgia, Texas is probably second.
In the world, I agree with that. In the world of transfer portal and pay for play and what have you, I don't know if you saw. I saw some videos when the Texas recruits get on campus and they're signing. They're getting commitments from only 4 and 5 stars right now. The Lamborghinis are lined up as they walk on, but they just got a commitment from 2026. Roger Bell's son. Roger played in the NBA. His son is a quarterback for 2026. But the job Sarkisian has done, and I did reach out to a Texas beat writer, just couldn't make it happen today because I wanted to get his perspective a little bit. To me, the job he's done with keeping Arch Manning there with the transfer portal, to me, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think Arch is one of the more grounded guys coming out of high school in recent memory that's a 5-star guy and that has that much publicity around him. He didn't open his Twitter until he committed. That was his first tweet. I committed to the University of Texas. And I think coming from the Manning family where you got not only Cooper, who's his dad and a mentor, but then you got Grandpa Archie. Then you also have Peyton and Eli as your uncles, and he's grounded, and the family has kept him that way, and he's okay with not really playing last year, right? And then the same thing this year. And he lit it up in spring. They gave him that opportunity, and he wasn't ready last year. And his development last year and this year will help him sitting behind Ewers and seeing that to where he takes off. Now, for some reason, Ewers misses a game for injury over a long stretch. He can come in, and they probably won't miss much of a beat. But Ewers is phenomenal, and my pick to win the Heisman on June 21st.
I like that pick. I know Carson Beck is being talked about as a Heisman winner. I saw his picture the other day. He doesn't look like a typical quarterback, but he's a good quarterback, and that's the Georgia quarterback, obviously.
And he's the favorite.
Yeah. The
slight favorite.
And look, the Heisman winner is not going to necessarily come from the national champion who won the Heisman this past year. We know how that story went. So let's wrap this segment up. When we come back, we'll talk to our analytics guy. Maybe he'll give us who he thinks can win the next Super Bowl. That Super Bowl's in New Orleans, I believe, right?
It is.
2025. That was pushed back because they had to get some stuff done. So the Super Bowl will be February 2025 in New Orleans. Wow. Saints and Chiefs. Let's put that into existence. How would that be?
That would be pretty good because the Saints are at astronomical odds to win the Super Bowl.
I may still take a little.
I think 60-1, 70-1.
I may drop a coin on that. I may drop a coin on that.
Go ahead.
We may do it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. Speaking of vacations, we took a lot of vacations here on this show between T-Bob and Taylor. If you're going on a vacation, you should rent a Toyota from All-Star Toyota. Everything's available, right? If you need a truck, multiple options. If you need a midsize SUV, multiple options. If you need a full-size SUV, van, hybrid, whatever, well, you can get that done because everything that you see available as far as a new vehicle or a vehicle that you can lease is also available in the rental department. Again, you don't find that anywhere else, but you'll find it over at All-Star. Call Miss Lisa Sessions today in that rental department to get that scheduled and reserved. But also, like, why would you not go check out the new vehicles and the leases? I've taken advantage of leasing a Toyota from All-Star. It's been an incredible process, very easy. If you want to buy new right now, I got new models on the lot, Sienna minivan, Murdered Out Mini. You can have that as well, custom as custom can be, All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined we
GIF edition of Live at Lunch, live at Rufino's, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. My man, Devin Hold the Mayo Snow, will be co-hosting for the entire show. Come by and see us. Live at Lunch, live at Rufino's, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Friday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wait till I get my money right.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Man, it's so hard not to act reckless. To whom much is given, much is tested. Get arrested, guess until he get the message. I feel the pressure.
Up in the club, I have no idea, but it's good, whatever it is.
You mean in the club?
In the club.
With 50 Cent? But
Yeah.
this isn't 50 Cent.
I just guessed.
But a contemporary of 50 Cent for sure. Mentioned him before.
What was
Kanye
that?
again.
Kanye
Yeah.
again. There you go.
This is.
It's from the Hangover soundtrack.
Mike Arrow plays some good stuff.
Thank you.
Hangover.
It's from the Hangover soundtrack.
She can play everything.
Yeah.
So, happy to be joined by Aaron Schatz. Aaron of the FTN Network, Chief Analytics Officer. That sounds professional. At A Schatz NFL. Aaron, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Aaron, we got you on 2 years ago, buddy. You remember that?
I do a lot of radio, so no.
You predicted the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl, and everybody hammered you in our chat over here, and you were right.
Yeah, that was one of my good ones.
Well, we're going to get you to do that again today, but give us a little bit of background. Give our listeners and people that are watching on YouTube and also WBTR Channel 19 in the Baton Rouge area. Give them an idea of what Aaron Schatz does for the FTN network.
Yeah, I'm one of the original football analytics guys. I've been doing this for over 20 years. So I'm known for the DVOA stats. I used to run a site called Football Outsiders. Now I do my stuff for FTN Fantasy. You can find all my stuff at ftnfantasy.com/DVOA.
Aaron, one of our producers over here brought it to my attention, Jacob Beck, that you did not vote for Lamar for MVP.
I'm the guy. I am the guy. That's right. I'm the one guy who did not vote for Lamar Jackson for MVP.
And what was the thought process behind that?
You know, when you look at advanced stats, not only my advanced stats, but the advanced stats of competing companies, they all had Josh Allen as better than Lamar Jackson this year, and most of them had Dak Prescott as also better than Lamar Jackson
I don't like
this year.
that.
And I realize there's an eye test thing, right? Like, I mean, Lamar Jackson looks very impressive. You know what? Josh Allen looks very impressive too, right? There's an eye test thing with him as well. So I went with the player who I thought was best in a year where no one player really stood out, and that was Josh Allen. That's who I voted for.
I'm kind of with you on that because it really wasn't an obvious choice like it normally is, and we know it's turned into a quarterback award for the most part. But I'm with you on that. I don't disagree with the way you went right there because nobody really, I mean, you could have almost said Patrick Mahomes. I mean, because nobody was head and shoulders. We actually had Clyde Edwards-Helaire in studio with us earlier. So he was obviously with the Chiefs and LSU and what have you. So, but I'm not disagreeing with your take on that.
Yeah, it was not a year where one guy should have won unanimously, and I did not expect to be the only person who did not vote for him.
Aaron, when you look at the analytics and talk about adjusted value with with offense, defense, special teams, explain to the listeners out there some of the categories that you use adjusted value and how you use it to assess the phases for each team and looking as far as previewing the upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the down and distance, right? Like, what are the yards that you gain based on the down and distance? Because that's important. 5 yards are very different on 3rd and 10 than they are on 2nd and 1. And then we're adjusting for the situation. You know, certain plays are easier than others, and we're adjusting for the opponents that you face. And when we project the next year, we're using your play from the last 2 or 3 years, but we're also using a look at coaching changes and coaching continuity, and we're looking at free agent changes and how the roster has changed from year to year and certain things that tend to regress towards the mean more from year to year, like turnovers, and we throw that all in. And then we do our projections that come out in our preseason book. We do a book every year. This is our 20th book coming out in July. It'll be called FTN Football Almanac 2024.
Aaron, can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek from the book on the Saints? Obviously, we follow the Saints here. We talk about the Saints. You don't have to give everything away, but just a little bit of a snippet of how you guys, when throwing everything together, how the Saints are going to fare this upcoming season.
We are going to be higher on the Saints than anybody else in the country, I'm guessing. And the reason why is going to be damning with faint praise. I think the Saints are very boring and mediocre.
All right.
Most people who are not Saints fans think that the Saints suck. They do not. They're a very average team that plays a very easy schedule. And we're not that high on Atlanta. I think people have very high expectations for what Kirk Cousins can do coming back from a torn Achilles. And I don't know if he can do those things. And the defense is bad. Their defense is bad. And so if New Orleans is the best team in the division because they're the team that's the most average overall and they have the easy schedule like every other team in the NFC South, I think that they're going to surprise people by winning 9 or 10 games and winning that division.
That's an interesting take because if you look at what most people are predicting in the NFC South, they're very high on the Falcons with the Cousins sign and Zach Robinson coming in as the offensive coordinator and using Bijan Robinson much differently than Arthur Smith did, and then the hire with Raheem Morris. And just an interesting take. And what's your take talking about the Falcons on the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, listen, first of all, there's this excitement about bringing in an offensive coordinator from the McVay and Shanahan trees. Guess what? New Orleans also brought in an offensive coordinator from the McVay and Shanahan trees. Like, why should we believe that the chances that Zach Robinson will improve the Falcons are any better than the chances that Clint Kubiak will improve the Saints? They're both coming from the same type of offensive scheme. So, the Falcons are good. The decisions that they made this offseason were the right decisions to put them in a place to compete or to be more likely to compete. I just don't think that it added as much as most people seem to think that it added.
Aaron, we appreciate your time, man. You gave us a prediction of Philly 2 years ago. You going to throw one out today?
Right now I'm going with San Francisco and Baltimore. They were my two best teams last year. Baltimore's lost a bit, but San Francisco looks just as good. So Kansas City can't win it every year. So I'm going to go with San Francisco and Baltimore as my pick for this year.
We appreciate your time, Aaron. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. FTNFantasy.com/DVOA. That's where you find all my stuff.
Absolutely. Follow him on Twitter at Aaron Schatz NFL. Have a great weekend.
Hey, man, you too.
Thanks, Aaron.
There's something to be said about the analytics part of it.
There really is, and he's been at it. And when I was a coach, his Football Outsiders with ESPN, I'm a nerd. I like to read and look at things from a different perspective. Where can you get an edge? And so I started looking at his adjusted value with special teams and kind of started reading. I never subscribed to it. I didn't want to pay, but I read all the information and got all the free stuff and
typical high school coach.
Sure, read about him and just been following him. But even going back to Eagles, they were kind of the first team to really start using analytics. When to go for it on fourth down? Should we go for 2? Should we punt instead of going for it on fourth down? Where do we need to get on the field? All of those different things. And now you have guys on the headset that are part of an analytics team, and they're on the headset, and they're telling the head coach, hey, it's 3rd and 8. And Dan Campbell will ask his guy, hey, it's 3rd and 8. How many yards do we need to gain in order to go for it?
Right.
And then offensive coordinators on the headset as well, Ben Johnson. So he knows, hey, if it's 4th and 4, we're going for it no matter where we are in the field. So it's really progressed. They had an interesting article a couple weeks ago on ESPN. Virgil Carter, he was a journeyman quarterback for the Bengals when Bill Walsh was the OC for Paul Brown. And Virgil Carter was a math whiz at Northwestern University in Chicago. And he actually did an analytic study and brought the information to Walsh. And one of the cool things was back in the late 60s, early 70s, he told Bill Walsh, hey, it's more important for us to have 1st and 10 from the 15 than it is for us to have 1st and goal from inside the 10. And
interesting.
Walsh had the questions. He gave all the answers, and he said, well, now I'm going to have to convince the old man, Paul Brown, who's been around a while and had a lot of success, that this is a new way of thinking. And a few years later, Walsh was not with the Bengals. And when Brown stepped down, he didn't get the head coaching job. Brown went with somebody else, hurt Walsh's feelings, ended up with the 49ers late 70s, and then built that dynasty in Frisco.
The rest is history. One segment left. We will do Ask the Bench. Start loading your questions in the Bayou Ford chat. Put them in there. If you're watching on YouTube, get those questions in. Ask the Bench coming up. Our final segment on today's show on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. And 11:30 The Tiger.
Community Steel Company. CommunitySteelCo.com. Already open up and running over there in Gonzales, Louisiana. If you need purlin, tubing, steel buildings, sheet metal, roof metal, trim, any accessories, it's all manufactured right there at Community Steel. They buy from the wholesaler. They make the product themselves. They sell it to you with their live and local sales team. And because there's no middlemen jacking up the price, you get a better price than what these national guys offer. You get better customer service than what these national guys offer. And again, you can actually form relationships with them. So if it's a business, like they understand how to serve your needs better, or if it's just personal. The bottom line, you need steel, you want Community Steel Company.
Go to the website, communitysteelco.com, and like T said, they've already been in the building. They are ready to go in Gonzales, Louisiana. So go see them today. But if you can, if you're in a different area but you need their help, 225-647-2020, communitysteelco.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team.
Join me for a Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, presented by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Preston Guy talking football, and I guess we will preview the College World Series final. I'll get through it one way or another. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What?
I should know this.
Oh,
You
God, if
should.
you don't,
It's like
what a
from the
big
80s.
Tears
fraud.
to Fears.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
We play this every Friday.
awesome.
I
Great
got
song.
one right.
1985, I believe, was that number one for a while. Name the album.
Oh.
Oh, I can't.
For Beer for Life. Name the album. Seriously. I'll buy you a case of beer every week.
I got it.
Songs from the Big Chair.
Yeah.
I was just proud of myself that I actually got one right. Final segment, X the Bench. Some questions starting to come in. Coach, it's been fun today, man. I appreciate you coming in. And I
The 3
appreciate
hours
you
fly
pulling
by.
Clyde.
Oh, yeah. The 3 hours fly by. It's not like sitting in the dentist chair where it creeps along.
I got to do that next Friday.
Next thing you know, 9:55 is here.
X the Bench. You guys miss coaching. I'll let you go first.
Miss the relationships for sure that you have with the players, but also the coaches and even the teachers in the school, being with them every day and just being a part of coaching the kids, teaching the kids, and sharing your passion, not only in the classroom, on the field, whatever you're coaching. And one of the things, too, I miss the monotonous stuff, the boring stuff, like watching film when I come home and tagging it on Huddle and sending notes to guys, and then just making sure in your meeting you get 20 minutes and making sure that every minute counts. So those are everybody misses the games. That's the easy part. I don't miss the summer, 4 days a week, 7 to 12, and waking up at 5:45. But the other part, the relationship part and doing the grunt work, that's the stuff you miss with the preparation.
Yeah, I would agree. I miss the players. I've been out it a lot longer than you. You and I are the same age. We went to Nichols at the same time. I do miss the player relationships that I had. I was an assistant football coach, but I was a head basketball coach, and I've coached over the years in a lower level. Don't do it anymore. I do broadcasting now and covering our football team at Ascension Catholic and do some other stuff as well. Get to work with the fine folks over here, and I've had a great relationship with them. So, but I do miss them. I do miss the player relationships and going through that. X the Bench. Would you take an NHL or Major League Baseball team in NOLA? Bilbo Baggins.
I mean, probably MLB. I don't really watch NHL.
Who's in the Stanley Cup Finals? Don't look.
Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers.
There you go.
Game 6
Game
tonight.
6 tonight in Edmonton. See if they can push it to a Game 7.
And they started off
3-0. Yeah, just like the Mavs.
Beck?
They couldn't finish.
No.
Major League Baseball, NHL.
I don't know that a major league team could work in New Orleans.
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah, I know. I think I would say an NHL team because I think that people would actually try to go to those games because it would be almost like a novelty. Like in the South, there's not really hockey, and I think people would.
They're the Zydeco here.
Yeah, they're the Zydeco, and they've had some minor league teams over the years, and people like going to those games. I mean, the Zydeco, I think, had one of the highest attendance ratings for any of those teams in that league. So I think people would show up for hockey.
I'd probably go Major League Baseball. I grew up watching the Braves in the 80s when they got trounced.
Braves, Cubs on TV all the time.
So I would probably, I'm not a big hockey fan. I'll watch it. I catch little clips of on it on Instagram and stuff because all right, I'm gonna make this statement, and Alondra may look down on me after this. I watch The Bachelor and all that stuff.
Oh, I don't watch The Bachelor. No. Yeah.
And I follow Joey and his fiance. So.
Yeah, I don't know who Joey is.
He was The Bachelor. Right?
Oh yeah, I don't watch The Bachelor. My guilty pleasure reality TV is like the Real Housewives and stuff. I love. What were you gonna say, Coach?
Dancing with the Stars.
No,
I've seen every season with the exception of it being on Hulu or Disney Plus. I did not, but I've seen it every episode, every season from when it began in 2004.
That is hilarious.
So fun, guys. Thank y'all for what y'all did today, Alondra.
Thank you,
Beck,
Troy.
Yeah,
Coach.
y'all do a great job back there.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks.
Jimmy Ott, Holomeo will be with him at 11 at Rufino's, Hunt Palmer at 1 with Beck, Matt Moscone at 3 p.m. Y'all have a fantastic weekend.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to RejuveMeMedical.com. On the website, you can get a consultation set up, top right corner of the site. You can do it by giving them a call, 225-269-5188. You can actually text them as well, 225-442-0646. Now, there's locations throughout the state of Louisiana, also now location in Mississippi. And so they can help you in a couple of different areas in our listening area as well. But once you go to the website, you'll get a great idea of what they can do for you. You can go to conditions that they can treat. It's going to pull out a long list because there's a lot of different things that it could be if you're not feeling like yourself. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you just know that you're off. You're just not feeling like you've always felt. Well, you go in, you get your blood drawn, they do the work for you, they get you on a plan to feel like your youthful self. They'll do it all at Rejuve Me Medical. Schedule it today, RejuveMeMedical.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.